we have a treat for you here today, I think. We have two individuals who are going to be talking to you guys today. One is Harrell. He's originally from Berea, Ohio. He moved to Cincinnati in 2006 to take a position at the University of Cincinnati. He went to the University of Toledo after his undergrad at Xavier University for his master's degree. Then he worked for UC Athletics and most recently as the Assistant Athletic Director of Ticket Sales until 2015. From there, he worked at UC Engineering as a Manager of Job Development in Engineering and IT until May, when he joined FC Cincinnati as the Director of Ticket Sales after they got up to a much faster start than they had anticipated. His first game with FC Cincinnati was the 5th home match in the first season. Also with us today is Kayla Burnside. Kayla is from Milford, Ohio, and joined us in August after a very successful career at Marshall University. She started 58 games in college soccer career and is the 4th all-time in minutes played at Marshall. At Marshall, she majored in business management and minored in marketing entrepreneurship. At FC Cincinnati, Kayla is responsible for selling season tickets, partial season tickets, and single match tickets to FC Cincinnati. She has previous work experience with pro camps here in Cincinnati. She is also currently a soccer coach at Sycamore High School. Please welcome Kayla and Greg.
Thank you very much. Thank you guys for having us. We really appreciate it. It's always awesome for us to get out in the community and have a chance to speak to you guys. And there's so much young talent in the region, and every time we have an opportunity to do this, we definitely jump on it. So thanks to Mark for a great program, a great series, and I can tell you that FC Cincinnati is honored to be a part of it. So he did a great job recapping our bios, and I think that the plan today is for Kayla and I to each talk a little bit about our personal story, kind of how we got here in front of you guys today. If there's questions at all in any part of this, please feel free to raise your hand and jump in, and we'd be happy to answer any questions along the way. But first of all, have any of you guys had a chance to see an FC Cincinnati match either in person or on TV? A few of you guys? Cool. Okay, awesome. So we're the new professional soccer team here in Cincinnati. We play over at the University of Cincinnati at Nippert Stadium and started back in, I guess the original announcement was back in August of 2015, and then our first match was in April of 2016. And so we just finished our second season. We got beat up a little bit on Saturday night in Tampa, but we're definitely excited for our third year, and both of us are excited to continue growing with the club. It's a startup. We've got about 25 full-time employees now, so we're still relatively small, but we're going to continue to grow with the organization. But going back into my background a little bit, starting off when I was in your shoes, I went to a semi-small public high school up in the Cleveland area called Berea High, and so the Berea Braves, and so I had a relatively normal, high school experience. I played golf, played a little bit of baseball. But when I was trying to pick my schools in college, I wanted to write. So I was a journalism major at the University of Toledo. Ended up getting a lot of business experience along the way. And if there's anything I can deliver in the message today, really it's, as I look through my career and from the very beginning when I was in your shoes, a lot of, success or failures even that I experienced was usually related to attitude and effort. And so those are the two words, I guess, if you guys leave here with anything today, I would just relay attitude and effort has been very important at every step along the way. I was a relatively average student in high school. In college, I got decent grades. I showed up for every class though. And so my attendance was always good. I was always present. I was always trying to be involved in conversations. I tried to make connections with my professors. And so I think that has helped me throughout my now business career. And so attitude and effort, I think, is definitely the two words that I want to key in on today. So I went to the University of Toledo, and I was really tested for the first time in working in sports. It's a very competitive industry, And so when we post a position with FC Cincinnati, we usually have about 200 to 300 applicants in about 2 weeks. And so for us, when we're reviewing candidates, it really comes back to experience and experiences that you've had in the industry. And so with so many people wanting to work for us, we look at what opportunities did you take advantage of, what experiences do you have. And as I look back at my career, it was really important for me to take an unpaid internship for a full baseball season in minor league baseball for a team that nobody in this room has probably ever heard of called the Lake County Captains. And so for an entire summer I worked with for no money, but I knew that it was something that I had to do in my personal career to get to where I wanted to be and get into a position that I have today. So up in the Cleveland area, I would drive probably the equivalent of from here to downtown Cincinnati every day during my entire summer and work 9, 10, 11-hour days, including games, and not get paid. So it really was not fun at times. It really stung to not get a paycheck at the end of it. But again, it was me trying to have a vision for where I wanted to be in the future. And without taking those kind of opportunities along the way, I wouldn't be where I am today. And then on the relationship side, a lot of people ask us around the country, we're averaging around 20,000 people a game at FC Cincinnati. So for minor league soccer, we lead the country in attendance. And so we're really proud of it. I think we're 5th or 6th nationally in terms of attendance in all of soccer in America. And so a lot of people call us and they'll say, what's the secret? What are you guys doing there? And it really gets down to relationships. And so another word that I'll hit on today, and I know Kayla's going to talk a little bit about it too, but the power of relationships, guys, and leaving positive impressions on people. It goes back into that attitude thing, right? And so along the way, a lot of my opportunities have been created through relationships that I've made with bosses, with individuals, with people. It could be in an informal setting like this, where Mark and I continue to talk for the next several months and years, and you never know how we can help each other out along the way. And so for me, to get my position at FC Cincinnati, it was my former boss at the University of Cincinnati. When I moved here in 2006, I didn't know a single person in the city. So I moved down here from Cleveland for an opportunity because of the results that we had in that unpaid internship I was talking about. And I moved down here not knowing a soul. And I knew that my number one thing is I had to figure out was, I gotta start meeting some people. I gotta start making some connections in this city if I'm ever gonna succeed. So I worked for 8 years at the University of Cincinnati. One of those connections that I made was in engineering at UC. I have no engineering background at all. But I ended up working in engineering at the University of Cincinnati because of the relationships that I had made in the city those previous 8 years. I knew a lot of alumni at the University of Cincinnati that were in engineering positions around the city. And my job at UC was to help students like yourself get co-op positions at area companies to start their career. And so I would work with about 800 companies in Cincinnati and in the greater region and helping students get those opportunities. And it was through the relationships that I made along the way by having that positive attitude that opened those doors up. So I didn't know a thing about engineering, but I was selling engineering and I was having a good time doing it. So fast forward to present day, my boss in the University of Cincinnati Athletic Department was employee number 3 at FC Cincinnati. And I'd worked with him at 8 years at the University of Cincinnati in the athletic department. And one night I got a text after FC Cincinnati got off to a fast start. And he said, "This thing is growing a lot faster than I thought. I need you." And so we joked about it, but he was serious. And so he was now recruiting me into my position as the director of sales at FC Cincinnati. So again, the power of relationships, trust. I had a great asset, a great resource that was on my side that recruited me through a text message and brought me into my current position today. So again, guys, attitude, positive attitude, effort, putting everything you have into the things you do. And I think ultimately that builds relationships and strong relationships where if you guys look around right now, I still have friends from Berea High that are great resources for me And as you guys go off into whatever your next step is, I would encourage you to, have a good community around you, so a few people that you trust, and you guys can help each other out, and eventually, like me, you'll be hiring each other. So I'm going to turn it over to Kayla, and she can tell a little bit of her story.
Thank you. I'm Kayla. I went to Milford High School just down the street, I'm sure you guys know. My high school career was pretty normal. I played soccer all high school career, and when I wasn't playing high school soccer, I was playing club soccer. So I really just played soccer. So when it came time for me to go to college, I was like, well, best thing to do is just to keep playing, because that's what I know what I want to do, and it'll help me in the future. Because you may not think it now, but playing in college helped me connect with a bunch of people from different teams in different states that I am now connected with here, and in the future it could help me out. When I graduated from college, I didn't have much work experience because I was playing the whole time. So my dad actually was connected with a couple at his work, and they knew I was looking for a job. And this lady knew the people at pro camps, and they got me an interview. And I went into it knowing that it was an unpaid internship, but it was something. And it kind of stinks to think that I graduated with a degree, but I had to go straight into something unpaid. When you go through college, you're thinking, I'm going to get out of college, I'm going to get a great paying job, and I'm going to be on my own. But it's not true. I came out of college, I moved right home with my parents, and I'm still there. And I got an unpaid internship with pro camps. And let me tell you, it was a lot of work. They said it was 9 to 5, but it was more like 9 to 5, but keep your phone on because we may call you at 9 o'clock p.m. to help us with something. And it was all 3 months of unpaid internships, driving all over Cincinnati to help out as much as I can, going to camps and helping out with them, all unpaid. And the internship ended at the end of the summer, and I was just kind of sitting around thinking, all right, what's next? So I would reach out to my dad's friends at his work, I'd reach out to my mom's friends at her work, and everyone that I knew, and I'm like, if you see something, please let me know. There were days where I would sit on my couch and I would just apply for jobs every day, just multiple, and I would never hear anything back. So finally, our coworker Josh sent an email out to the season ticket holders, who happened to be one of my dad's coworkers. And she saw at the bottom of the email, it said, we are hiring account representatives for a seasonal position until December. Email me a resume if you're interested. So she screenshotted that, and she sent it over to me, and she was like, why not just give it a shot? So I ended up connecting with Josh, and I got an interview, and he told me I would hear back in about a couple of days. And you go on an interview, and you do your best, and you go out, and you're like, well, at least I tried. That's the best I could do. And I ended up hearing from Josh quicker than I expected, and he offered me the position, so now I'm at FC Cincinnati with him. And it is paid, so it's exciting. But so I'm an account representative with FC Cincinnati. I talk to people on the phone all day. I'm making connections all day. You wouldn't believe the people that call in and you don't realize who they are. And then you're like, oh, I know you, I'm Kayla Burnside. And then you automatically make a connection there. So then you talk to people and they like you the way you talk to them on the phone, and they end up emailing you or even texting you random questions a day. And it's unprofessional, but it's a good relationship to have with people. And then the people that we talk to every day work at Great American and P&G and all those places, and those are big companies that someday, if I decide to move on from the rest of Cincinnati, I know that I can connect with via LinkedIn and everything. Speaking of LinkedIn, it's a social media platform. I don't know if you guys have it this early in your age, but it's a good platform that you meet someone and you connect with them immediately. We did a thing with U.S. Soccer recently. The U.S. women's soccer team came to Cincinnati and they played at Nippert. And we got an opportunity to follow a bunch of those people around that work for them. And as soon as the game was over, I went home and I got on LinkedIn and I found the girls that I followed around that day, and I added them immediately and thanked them for letting me have the opportunity. So in the future, who knows if that'll help me? It may not, but just to be connected is a good thing, and it could help me. My dad's coworker got me a job at FC Cincinnati, and you never think that could happen. So I know Greg and I are both going to touch on social media today. It is a very important thing. You guys may not think it now because you're in high school and you think that if you tweet something that you think is funny, that it won't hurt you in the end, but it will. Greg told me that he looked at all my social media platforms before I got the job, and if there was one bad thing on there, I know he wouldn't have looked twice. He probably would have just been like, you know what, slide the resume aside, next. When I was in college, the biggest thing with social media, if I posted something bad, I would lose my scholarship. They talked about it every year. We had a compliance meeting. There's football players who would post pictures of themselves sleeping in class and they think it's funny, but then the next day of practice they lost their scholarship. So you never know how it could affect you in the future, but you post something now and I guarantee you it will come back to haunt you in the future. because it has before. I don't know if you want to talk about that for a little.
Yeah, I mean, just to give a little bit of backup to what Kayla's saying, when I was at the University of Cincinnati, it was definitely something that we were looking at in every student hire that we made. And you guys might not know what a platform called MySpace is, but when I was in high school, I mean, MySpace was really cool. But we actually found an old MySpace account of one of the students that we were prepared to make an offer to, and I'll just say that the picture that was on this account was very, very inappropriate, and there was no way that we could make a hire in our department, and it was old, and and I had a talk with the individual as we told them that they would not be getting the job, and obviously they apologized and didn't know it was still out there. This was several years before that they had applied for this job, but there was no way that we could take a risk with somebody that had this kind of material out on the web. And so it is important, guys. My little brother just graduated from the University of Cincinnati last year, and we had to talk, I can't tell you how many times through his experience, and he wasn't even aware that, he was retweeting inappropriate stuff. And he said, "Oh, but big brother Greg, I didn't type it. It was just funny." Well, any content that you're putting out there, guys, you need to think about it before you push send. And if there's anything we can get through today to you guys, because you guys are at the age where I didn't have Twitter, and some of the stuff that you guys have, and some of the stuff that I do see is pretty funny. And I'm very active on social media for my job. We use it to sell tickets a lot. But again, we say think before you tweet, think before you push send. Just remember, it might be funny now, but as you guys progress and as you guys see opportunities out there, make connections, it can really, shape how somebody looks at you. So I just want to give that bit of advice there. Yeah, do you guys have any questions about our positions or our careers? One thing I will say is take advantage of the fact that you guys are students. So, soccer is a passion of mine. I didn't necessarily think that I would end up working in professional soccer, but I'm sure each of you guys has individual passions or something that you care about, or who knows, someday that you might want to work in something that's related to your passion, and I would tell you to go for it, but take advantage of the fact that you guys are students. Individuals like Kayla and myself, if a high school student ever reached out and said, "Hey Greg, would you mind telling me more about your job?" I'm saying yes every time, and I'm saying it a lot faster than if somebody, like an adult, reached out. So that's first of all. And as you guys do move on from Goshen and go on to college, or find an opportunity here locally in a job that you're working, and again, if you're in those positions, take advantage of the fact that you guys have resources in your community and people like us that want to help you and help you improve your individual job or your individual just approach to life in general. And so take advantage of the resources that you guys have. It's really important. And if I could go back, I would probably have reached out to more people when I was in high school and even in college, just for general advice. So do you guys have any questions?
All right, let's thank Greg and Kayla.
Thank you, guys.